Hey, Mike Lucero here. I want to talk to you about some things you can do with the whammy bar. First off, we have like the regular squeal. Okay, you can do that where you bend the bar, you know, hit the note. You don't even have to squeal. You can even just hit the note, and as you bend it up, you shake the bar coming down. That's one. Another one is you can do the same thing, but instead of shaking the bar, you're actually just vibrating the note. So you're letting this hand do the work, while this one's just slowly going down or coming back up. Another thing that I like to do is adjustment of your bar is very important. This guitar is set up a little bit differently than my other one, but my other guitar, I have it where the bar, where I pull it all the way up, the high E is one full step, exactly a full step. What that does is also make the G string 2 full steps. And I found what that does is it keeps you from breaking strings, because you can do a full step bend all day long. But when you have the bar, you're putting a lot of pressure back here. Even going to thicker gauge strings. For a long time I used to use 10s, but now my hands are old and tired, so I go back to 9s. So choosing the right kind of strings, and even when you're tuned down, maybe even down a half step with some 9s, you're not putting the same amount of pounds per pressure on it. So that's another thing to consider, to think about. What we're going to do here is we bend up a whole step. So what I did is I bent up a full step, and then I go a little bit higher. Now you can do it with this hand, but it has a little something different with the bar. You know, like that. I used to do something where I would actually change the texture of the bend like that. Another thing I like to do with the bar is actually lower it and slide into the note that I just did. Notice I'm going steps, so every time I push the bar down a half step, I slide a half step. If I push it down a whole step and release it, I slide down another whole step. So you've really got to gain control of your right hand. And it's really hard to get the bar in specific places. I found one of the best things to do is just use your ear. Try not to figure out where you're going and how much pressure you're putting on. If you just use your ear, it'll tell you where you need to stop. You do the same thing coming back up. Joe Satriani, I think this is where I heard him do something like holding the note, and as you slide up, you drop in the bar to try to maintain that same note. So you can mess around with it and get some really cool effects out of it, some really cool tones. Let me see what else we got. I mean, there's the hammer-on and pull-off. You know, like there's that type of thing, but you can even do it like right on the 12th fret, kind of like Def Leppard. Here's an you can even end it with something else like a harmonic. But one of the things I found a lot is using hammer-ons and pull-offs. A lot of pulling off, like plucking, I guess you could say, to hit the note so you can use the bar like that helps a lot. You got to use your left hand in there. But one of the things I came across that I thought was really cool, and it actually came from some bends that I saw. A few like Mathis Jabs would do, like the or Vi would actually come up. So that kind of thing. I was messing around with that, and I started thinking about, okay, we have our harmonics, obviously, but we can get them in different places on the neck. If you think of this hand as like your cable. So if we're going an open string and we hit it on the octave or the fifth, excuse me, the seventh or the fifth, well, if we hit a note here on the 7th fret and we go 5 frets above that or an octave above that or 7 frets above that, that's the same thing as here. Example. So I actually did a lot right there, you know, so we're going. So I went from the 7th to the 14th, the 5th to the 12th, and then when I came to the 12th, I plucked it open. Now that may look like it's for show, and it does look kind of cool, but the main thing is that my thumb stayed stationary, so I'm able to go from the 12th to the 5th without moving around. I almost don't even have to look at it. And sometimes it's kind of hard to have your hand on there, so sometimes you can even just use the palm of your hand. So sometimes having the bar backwards, Dimebag Darrell did that a lot. It's almost because you've got your hand right here and it's just real easy to just pull right back up. But I do find that when you get your half steps and whole steps in order, you make the bar more musical and not just like a bunch of noise, not just a bunch of dive bombs. I like to use it and make it a little bit more musical. But it is cool for some of the tricks and some of the effects you can do. One of the things that I noticed when I was doing a bend one time was that when I would bend, I would notice the bar would go, and you guys may have noticed it too, it kind of throws intonation off. And so sometimes we kind of put our hand here when we're doing like our double stop bends, like especially if you're used to playing a hardtail and you start doing your double stop bends and you're going, God, I gotta keep bending it. It's because this is dropping it, so you're almost fighting it a little bit. So what I noticed about that was and also the obvious tension, the push-pull between the springs and the tension of the guitar strings. I did this one time just as a cool effect. Actually grabbed 2 of the strings. I tried grabbing one and I ripped it right off. So grab 2 of them if you're going to do something like that. And I would even do something where like, I remember Jimmy Page would do that. But I would do something like that and I would actually go behind and I've got the plate removed. So I'd actually put my thumb up against the back of the trim right there. And again, it's just for show. I mean, like people are going, how's he doing that with one hand? Stuff with, I like to do with octaves. So you kind of got a harmony effect going on. Okay, so thinking back on how I opened up the video with the Steve Vai Attitude song, and that I did that for a purpose, because then you could see all the different ways that the tremolo bar is being used. You know, dropping the bar before you actually hit the note to make it sound a little higher. Now right here, the pull off. We go up. Has a different flair to it. Does have a different tone if you just want. There's those octaves right there. So there's a lot going on right there. One of the very first things that ever caught my eye with Steve Vai was when I heard the Attitude song, but it wasn't the main solo. It was I believe it was like the second riff in the song where he's going. How cool is that? I'd never heard anything like that before. Bars get a little bit loose here, but you're emulating a. That's really hard to do. Again, use your ear. If you're trying to do stuff like that, don't worry so much about trying to find the exact spot, because there's no notches on here, and the bars, even though I try to set my bars up exactly the same, sometimes they just feel a little bit different. So I found the best way is just listen for it and just try to lock it in. It's not going to be easy. So to kind of recap some things, we've got the squeal with the bend, or just a note with using the left hand to vibrate. We've got where we have adjusted the bar to do a full step on the high E, which gives us 2 full steps on the G string. We have where we do a bend, a full step, and then go another half step or another full step with the bar. Or like they do is like an answer call. We're changing the texture we talked about. So instead of going. So we have the different texture bend. We have what we're doing sliding up, but doing the bar first, and as we release, slide up to that note. For example, and we have the same thing in reverse. Drop in the bar, bring it back up, slide to the note that we match. We have that. There's hammer-ons and pull-offs, as we talked about, you know. At the octave point. We've got the harmonics, but also incorporating those with the right hand and using this one as your capo. The octave. Now here's one of the things that you can also do with the bars. You can actually take it off, remove it, and just practice. Sometimes that's all you need to do is just work on your syncopation. I'd like to thank Floyd Rose Dunlop, who's been a supporter for me for the past 10, 12 years. Everything from picks to tuners to straps to strings, peg winders, pick holders. Dunlop has been fantastic and has really helped me out a lot. So I got to give them a shout out. And also to all the wonderful people that helped me out at Krunch Cabinets and Kables. So thanks again, Mike Lucero. I hope I was able to help you out with something.